Hey guys, Matthew Angelo Sobolski, author of Find Your Playlist. And I just want to take a few minutes to tell you basically what Find Your Playlist is about, why you should read Find Your Playlist. Well, number one reason, because I wrote it, but that really doesn't mean that much to you, does it? No, what might mean something to you is that this book, Find Your Playlist, is all about how I used music. It's a memoir on how I used music to get through probably one of the darkest periods in my life. And to the outside person, it wouldn't seem that dark, but inside is a completely different ballgame. What's going on inside of a person is not necessarily what we all see on the outside, is it? It certainly wasn't for me. Now, I had every reason to be happy, but I wasn't. I had a very well-paying job. I had the possibility of possible ownership in this job. I had a great family. I had a girlfriend. I had a dog. I had an apartment. I had a nice car. So why wasn't I happy? Well, I had very little to do with things that I had and a lot more to do with things that I didn't have. And what I didn't have was control over my life, over what I was doing, over the decisions that I was making. Drugs and alcohol, and quite frankly, over 2 decades worth of drugs and alcohol, had taken its toll. Failure had taken its toll. Mistakes had taken their toll. I was unable to see all the good that I had and was basically focusing on all the negative and things that I didn't have. Does that make sense to you? Can you relate to that? So Find Your Playlist is basically about how I used music. The one thing that I love, the one thing that transcends race, religion, ethnicity, wherever you're from, whatever you believe in. It's the one thing that can unite all of us. And it's the one thing that helped me pull through. It's the one thing that spoke to me when everything else failed. In fact, when I was at my rock bottom, and trust me, I've had a few of them, it was the music that I felt was literally written for me when I was listening to it. I had heard it 1,000 times. I had heard the songs many times. But it wasn't until I was looking for that answer, looking for that playlist, if you will, that purpose of life. That's when it hit me. And that's when I started developing my playlist. That's when I started putting these songs together to help me pull through what was a time period that almost took me out. So you might be asking, that's all fine and great, but why am I going to buy your book? Well, one, I hope you buy my book because maybe I had an impact in your life already. Or maybe, just maybe, you can relate to where I was. Maybe it somewhat resembles where you are. Maybe you're not happy with where you're at. Maybe you're not happy with what's going on in your life. And maybe you are. Maybe you have all that you want to have. Maybe you're doing all that you want to do. Maybe you have everything in life that you want. Then that's fine. But maybe you just want to read something interesting, and that might be a reason. But my hope and my purpose for this book was that you might read it and be able to relate to it. More importantly, you might read it and it might help you figure out what your purpose on this planet is. You see, guys, we only get one shot at this thing called life. And I'll be damned if I was going to live it not doing what I wanted to do. So if any of that resonates with you, please buy the book, read the book, and tell me how you feel about the book. My hope is that it inspires you to be all that you can be, to do all that you can do, and to live this one life we get here the way that you want to live it. Thank you for your time. I'm Matthew Sobolski, author of Find Your Playlist. Take care.